So, hi everybody. My name is Jacek, and I'm the member of Meeting Code. And just to start with, I have a warm welcome from our partners and sponsors like Hase Stiftens, TechSoup Europe, SAP, and German Federal Ministry of the Interior. I'm glad that thanks to their support and their help, we all can be together today right now. And welcome to our first Meeting Code Purpose Talk. And to start with, let me just briefly introduce you to some fundamentals. What is Meeting Code? What do we do? And why do we do that stuff? Because I think that can be important to some of you. So Meeting Code was launched in 2017 to assist nonprofit organizations in providing digital skills and education to young people from 8 to 24 years old across the whole Europe. Now, with 5 years on, Meeting Code has reached more than 175 young people across 35 European countries, giving them all digital literacy and coding skills to thrive in, let's say, tomorrow's competitive digital economy. And Meeting Code awards also microgrants of as much 500 euros to local nonprofits to facilitate the digital skills in case of like workshops and any special trainings. And why have we launched the Purpose Talks? The Purpose Talk series is an extension of a Meeting Code commitment to help nonprofit become more innovative and creative in the work they do. They are designed to inspire all of you, all of our Meeting Code community, not only the organizers, but also the participants and friends of our initiative, because I think that during the last 5 years, we collected an amazing community of people. And I hope that some of you are here with us today. I think that it's kind of enough of it. Now is the time to present you to the star of today's meeting. I'm super glad that I have a chance to meet her, and I think that after the webinar, you all will be as glad as I am. So we are delighted to have Bara Buhnova with us today. Bara is the founding member of Czechitas, the most popular diversity-oriented platform for informal education and technology and computing in the Czech Republic. But Bara is also an associate professor and vice dean at Masaryk University in the Faculty of Informatics. And from all I know, she's driven by her desire to engage more women in tech. And she is a leader of numerous empowerment initiatives that reach across Europe. She's also an author of multiple research studies on gender-sensitive education. And we are honored, we are grateful, and hugely amazed that despite all her commitments, Bara has prioritized her time to be with us today. I hope that I kind of managed to introduce you, Bara, but please feel free to elaborate. So, Bara, the floor is yours.
So wonderful. I will share my screen. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful introduction. And I will tell you a little more about the context, so you'll get into understanding why this topic resonates so strongly with me. Because I'm primarily an engineer, software engineer. Also at the university, I teach software engineering courses, and then I lead software engineering study programs. My expertise is in software architecture, which is the one where you actually need to integrate different understandings of the elements of software system that you are designing, and really being able to kind of like bring the expertise from one field to the other. And that's something that is actually typical to many of my colleagues who are girls, and I would like to actually see more of them around myself, because it's quite a pity that in the Czech Republic specifically, we have so few girls in tech and in software engineering specifically. So actually what we did in 2014 is that a group of my students, and I joined them as well, decided to run some coding classes for girls. It was meant for the friends, so basically for girls of our age back then, like age of 25, and show them how exciting computing is and how interesting coding is. And what was very interesting about that time, really like showing coding to other girls, to our friends, was that obviously they were really excited and really interested in learning coding. They only had the feeling that it's too late for them to start. So in the end, we thought that we will need to like push them to want to learn coding with us, and it was the other way around. They wanted to learn, they wanted to explore, and they actually were only waiting for a platform which would actually bring the coding classes to them in a form where they feel really like courage to give it a try, courage to fail, courage to explore, even if they felt that it's too late to start. And that's a kind of like a theme that we see all over the place, and not only with girls, but also with other kids who are like 16 years old, and they think that if they didn't start with coding when they were 7 or 8 years old, it's too late for them. And now they are like watching the world that they would like to be part of and feel that, what if I really started if I was 7 years old? So with Czechitas, we actually open this world, and we would like to make it open to everybody who wants to start coding, whatever their age. So we now have programs for like as young as really like preschool or like first grade kids till like any kind of age. Like you can start coding when you are 80 years old. So we want to make really this field open, because we believe that it's beautiful to be part of it, and it's a like what I say, and it's something that like I feel very strongly about, that like tech is kind of like a shortcut to innovation for whatever discipline you are in. And if you actually help like bringing people in, you are democratizing innovation, because you are giving anybody access to become part of the innovation that you can see in all fields around us. So this is like a theme that is very dear to my heart, and I'm very happy that we are contributing to this with Czechitas. So that's the organization you see in the logo. You will see it a few times in the talk, repeated, but you can also find our website and find some more information, and I'll be happy to share more in Q&As. So what to tell you about myself, I think you've heard enough. So just to maybe complement it with one more information, and that is that, like for me, I also thought that it's too late to start with computing. I was 18 years old when I started university with like zero like kind of like upfront knowledge. But I must say that it was one of the best decisions in my life, because I really love computing. I love being part of innovation. I love research because I can really think big, and I do not have any limitation of whether my ideas can be implemented or not. And that's what I love. I love being part of international teams and really like kind of engage in new and very exciting activities. When I was little, I actually did not know that computing could be an option for me. I did not know at all, because I thought that it's only for those like smartest people in the world, and I did not consider myself to be one of them. And also like it's that kind of like perception that you have as a girl, where I loved my girlish stuff. I loved my Barbie house, and I loved my, you know, like stuff that I like enjoy till this moment, like things that other people say, but you are too female to be in IT. And I actually want to change this perception. I don't think that you should have like be only interested in like technical toys to be like beneficial, to be part of the tech. I would love actually people who have like all these different interests to be part of tech. And that's what I will be touching on slightly in talking about this. To share the story of Czechitas, so it started in 2014 with really the idea of improving the situation slightly in the Czech Republic, as also now we are actually in the worst situation in the Czech Republic when it comes to engagement of girls and women in computing. So really just 10% in the previous statistics, it was below 10%, it was 9%. And we are really like not in the best situation in the Czech Republic. But when you see the Czechitas courses, we have much more people interested in joining than our capacity. So we run hundreds of coding classes each year, and all of them are full of people who are, and mainly women and girls, who want to learn tech. And that's something that we will hopefully very soon see results. Also, what I see is that it's actually, and many studies show it, that when you start really like encouraging and empowering and engaging girls into technology, what happens as an effect is that this has positive effect on the whole nation. So it has positive effect on boys as well, because there are many boys who have the same feelings about maybe not being smart enough for IT, or maybe like it's too late for them to start. But when they see these initiatives really encouraging those girls who already are like 18 years old or 20 years old to start and engage in this sector, they also join. So it's actually the fact that the percentage might not be changing is maybe even positive if the absolute numbers are growing. And we see those absolute numbers growing. We see improved interest of the population in the Czech Republic in technology, and that's really great. So we started in this 2014 with really like classes for young girls, so very young adult women around like 20, 25 years old, because the group of founders of Czechitas, with like 4 of us, was mainly students of the university. It actually became very popular because we created it as a community activity. So the idea was, if you want to learn, come and learn. If you want to teach, come and teach. We did not put any kind of like barrier to people who wanted to come and teach. So we welcome every professional, and it's still the same till this moment is the same. So whoever just wants to join and wants to come and teach is welcome. We only make a difference whether you are rather like helping with the education or you are the main lecturer, because the main lecturer needs to get through some trainings that we have designed for the people, although they themselves are also experts in tech. So they are tech professionals, people who work full-time in tech companies, and during the evenings or weekends, they just come and engage in teaching. So those main lecturers, they get some training from us, but there are many, we call them like assistant mentors in the classroom, who just run around and keep helping. And you see them in those blue t-shirts in the back. And it's actually kind of balanced girls and boys who help us with teaching, because many of our graduates, after they learn with us, they come and teach with us. And that's also beautiful, because you learn the most when you start teaching it. So that's how we started, and then people started coming and say, I also want to learn with you because you have so beautiful pictures, and my friend just was in your course and she shared the pictures in her Facebook, and I would also love to join. I find it really fun and exciting, and people are laughing and smiling and feel like look very happy in the pictures. And indeed, the atmosphere was one of the like main things we cared about. Like, let's make the atmosphere really welcoming and open for people so that they want to come, they want to spend their Saturday with us. And that effect actually also affected the teachers. So more and more people who are tech professionals started to join us and say, I also want to teach with you. And so soon we had hundreds of teachers who wanted to teach, and many of them were coming and saying, I want to introduce a new course. Let's like teach Android development, and let's teach Linux, and let's teach networking, and let's teach security, and let's teach C# and Java and JavaScript and whatever language they could imagine. So actually very soon our portfolio grew huge, and all run on a community basis. The first 2 years, having all the courses free of charge and not paying anybody who was helping us, like all run on a volunteering basis. But after first 2 years, we started to make it more professional. So started to build up a network of partners of the companies supporting these activities. And now we have 100 companies actually supporting us and partnering with us in different cities in the Czech Republic, where SAP is actually one of our strategic partners, so one of the major ones that also helps a lot in teaching and in running many, many courses over the course of the year. As we were successful with girls, parents started coming and they said, could you teach my children? Could you start some classes for young children? And we introduced many of them. We started working with teachers. We started running around the Czech Republic in road shows and working with teachers. We started organizing events for school headmasters where we talked to them about the importance of the education in tech. We run teacher academies where we actually work with teachers more systematically. And then our ladies and girls started coming back to us and say, hey, we've learned the basics. We are already like bought in, so we are excited about this thing. We want to learn more. We want to consider changing our career. And we started introducing programs where we actually, for a person, really with zero knowledge from scratch, we run a 3-month academies and programs where we help them to get to a level where they can start some systematic internship in a company, for example, and actually build a contact based on which they can later get a job in IT. That is, of course, like very difficult path for them because they need to learn a lot. And what we create is a platform that is really supporting them, guiding them, encouraging them, creating a community where they can actually share. And especially in these 3 months requalification programs, it's a lot about creating long-lasting friendships where they also, like the girls work in teams on their own projects. They are assigned a mentor from a company. So they run this in like 3 months. It's really like full-time activity for them. And it's very time consuming. It's also very exhausting. So typically like in the end of these 3 months, they really feel like they've conquered something really big. In this, it's actually good to say that during the whole design, we are also thinking of those girls and young women who are in a situation where they want to consider changing their career. Many of them are mothers of young children. So many of them actually can only learn during the evening or during weekend where their husband is home so that they can get some help with the childcare. So these programs are designed in a way to be compatible with their schedule. So really like running like since 5 in the evening till 9 p.m. So in the weekdays and then during the weekend. And then also some activities run during their time where they can work on their own project, they can work in a team, they can get support by the mentors. And these mentors who you see, like they are from companies that are supporting the program. So there's typical like 5 companies supporting the academy, and we blend it all together. So it's really, we do not have like professional teachers team, but we welcome everybody who wants to share their knowledge and like help them so that they are ready and equipped to share it. Now we have like 100 companies we work with. It's not in just one city in the Czech Republic, it's 8 cities in the Czech Republic. And why they are so important to us? Like it's for many, many reasons. Like first of all, it was the companies who came at the beginning and said, hey, if you need a lecture room, you can use our office space. And that's how we started. We started with all activities in the office space of the companies that decided to support us. And then they actually also come and say, and if you need some mentors for your programs, we can help out with our mentors. And sometimes this is very important, especially when it comes to activities for children, because when you want to teach children, you need to have your like teaching time during like morning till early afternoon. But during this time, our volunteers are working, so they are not free to actually help and teach the children. So when companies such as like SAP come and say, yeah, we can organize something together and we can actually, during our working hours, we can have a team of our volunteers to help with teaching like kids from schools, that's very valuable for us because then we can also run programs for schools. Now we've learned so much during the interaction. So far we've educated over 25,000 women in those like offline courses, and more are coming in these online courses because now everything is just turned online. We've learned a lot about what are those reasons why we have so few girls in tech, and we can say that like basically, when you look at the pathway of like a little girl till adult woman being in tech, then there are certain kind of like frustrations that she's feeling on the way. since the childhood till adulthood. And what we see is that those women that you see, those like bold and super inspiring women you see in IT, are typically those resilient ones who just maybe didn't even notice there are those frustrations that they are facing, or that they were resilient against them. So we were studying them, and we created a study of like 100 women who are typically, we just divided in two personas. Like one persona is a woman who is in tech, so who is a tech engineer, and one who now wants to learn tech, although she just studied something different beforehand. And we're trying to understand like why this woman, who is like now interested in getting in tech, why she hasn't been in tech since the beginning. Like when it happened and why it happened that she actually dropped out. Because we see she wants to come back, so she has these interests in the IT. And we identified this like 5 frustrations along the way, where it started with something that those women were reflecting on a lot. They were reflecting on actually missing access to support and encouragement. They expected this support and encouragement most from their parents and their teachers, but it typically wasn't coming. And there was like a strong memory that they were saying, yeah, but nobody ever encouraged me to give it a try. So I was not motivated to learn what it is about and if it was interesting for me back then. Then the second thing that hits, in this like timeline is the stereotypes about the tech, but not by themselves, but their closest environment. And what they were typically saying is that, yeah, when I was small and I was thinking about tech as a career, then my mom discouraged me because she wanted me to be happy, and she could not imagine that this could be a path to happiness for me. So interestingly enough, again, this was not meant to harm them. It was actually meant to help them, to, like direct them towards a path where their mom can see them happy. And it's typically a mom of the girl who is her biggest role model when she's little. So when this mom, and you see it in the Czech Republic, it's like we have so few women in tech at the moment. Then it's also their mothers who do not really understand or feel that this could be a, like a happy path for their daughters. And that's something we do in Czechitas as well. We work with parents and we work with mothers, and by also teaching coding to adult women, we see that their girls have totally different stance to computing because they see this inspiration, they see this role model in their mom who is just learning coding home, and that's beautiful. And it's very important to actually realize. Then the third one is confidence. So many of these girls were saying, yeah, I understood that tech is something where you have this high salary and you are this Superman. So I didn't feel that it's something that where like I could be successful, because it's just for those few percent of smartest minds, and I'm not one of them. And that was something that many of them were saying. And it's actually good to understand that this confidence gap can be seen across different disciplines. It's not just computing. But I'm afraid that the higher salaries we pay to the computing people and to information technology people, the more we might be discouraging those who do not have that high confidence and self-confidence. Then the fourth one, for those girls who just got over all this and just go into IT education, maybe they already find themselves at university studying IT, the fourth point hits. And that's a sense of belonging. So they typically had this feeling that they like it's an environment where they miss role models who would be similar to them. They miss, like all or their like management in the company is male, or their professors are male, and they just like subconsciously do not identify themselves with that environment. And then also the sense of belonging is about like feeling that, like there are people who have the same style of humor, who enjoy same activities, who enjoy reading similar books. And they just felt like, yeah, so this is something that is a bit frustrating for some of those girls when there is really so few girls in computing. Here's something interesting comes, because when I talk to men, they often do not realize. They often say, yeah, I have a colleague, she's female, and she loves this environment. She loves being surrounded by men and being just one woman in a team. And I say, yeah, that's why she's there. But what about those who are not there? You need to ask those who are not there. You cannot ask the one who is there, because of course she feels comfortable. That's why she stayed. So we need to talk to those who actually would like to become part of computing but are not there at the moment. And yeah, and it's typically being said in studies that when you reach around like 30% of certain minority, they also feel that the community is large enough to feel this sense of belonging. But when it's under 30%, then they feel as a minority. And then the fifth one is about feeling valued. And this one is like them referring to defensive culture, like this: I have the constant feeling that I need to keep proving everybody that I'm good enough. And that's frustrating. That's exhausting. Even if the environment never told me that I'm not good enough, I still have this like pushing feeling that I should show them. I should show them because I do not expect them to, you know, like see I'm good enough before I show them. I prove myself. And this like constant proving themselves can be very tiring. So as you see, like many of those frustrations are like easy to prevent and easy to correct because none of them was saying, yeah, the environment wanted something bad for me, or the environment was, you know, like nasty with me. Not at all. Like all of them want to become part of tech and feel that tech is a wonderful environment to be part of. And typically these artists kind of like you know, things they feel, you know, can be so easily corrected. So that's something we did with Czechitas. We created a program where we were focusing on really like community education. So focusing strongly on the sense of belonging and becoming part of community. Having a lot of like practical and meaningful education, because that's also something interesting that we see with girls, that they have different way of interacting with technology. Like little girls and little boys often just interact differently with technology. And it's not that like one gender would be weaker and one would be stronger, not at all. It's just a different way of interacting with technology. And it's actually good to also think about this, like, isn't it that we are just teaching girls IT in the wrong way? Isn't it that we just are so, you know, stuck in that picture of how boys prefer to be taught, that we teach girls the same way and just doesn't work? And that like help us to keep thinking about these things. Our overall mission, however, is not focused on girls only. Like we are thinking about making the IT sector more open to all diverse talents. So like anybody who wants to join. But we also give a promise to ourselves that until there are like good numbers of girls in tech and girls want to learn, we will like give kind of like a priority to focusing on them. Now, I will skip the format of events, but I'll be happy to tell you more about that if you are interested, because there are like many types of events, like camps, like, or I will tell a bit about that. So for adults, it's typically like one-day workshops, the whole Saturday or the whole Sunday. It's like long-term courses, 3-month long, upskilling academies, it's intense programs, hackathons, coding clubs, internships. For children, they are like school camps. It's like summer camps for children, summer camp for high school kids, different programs for schools, teachers, etc. We are also, like, I will skip this one, but we are also successful supporting career changers. So it's visible that there are actually many women interested in changing career, even if they start with computing later. And we create beautiful stories. So with the numbers, I mentioned them already, around 25,000 graduates from the courses, like 600 lecturers and teachers in 8 cities of the Czech Republic. And with the groups, our actually main one is adult women still. It's like young adults. Many of them are considering having a career break, starting a family, and maybe changing and rethinking their career direction. But then, like, there are many complementary activities, like working with children and parents, working with teachers, working with companies and public, and it's in many areas. So the areas include website development, but also like coding in all different kinds of languages. It's about data science, it's about security, it's about testing, etc. And then we have also programs which are connected, for example, to an award for theses at universities, which are written by girls about tech. So like connected to IT, we have different events, like different online programs, different tutorials, etc. So we can, again, like if you're interested, I'll happy to tell you more about them and how we arrived to this portfolio. We receive many recognitions. These recognitions are from the Czech Republic, from the Europe. So there is one from European Parliament, and also from the overseas, like the South by Southwest conference in the US. And we are in these 8 cities where I'm myself located in Brno. We have the SAP and Martin Jenáček, who is with us at the webinar, also in Brno. And like in Brno, we opened quite recently a beautiful community center, which is 1,500 square meters of lecture rooms and cafes for those who come and learn with us. There are separate rooms for teaching children, then those for teaching adult women, etc. So it's a beautiful place. It's now closed because of COVID since like March last year, but we hope to reopen very soon. And what's important that in these places you can really meet different communities. So not only those who teach and learn, but also the companies, municipalities, universities, and other nonprofit organizations. Now, what helped us to become so successful, because you can imagine that running something like this already requires also quite a big budget and quite a big commitment from many people. In our case, it's 60 full-time employed people basically running the organization, and then like around 600 volunteers and teachers. Then I would say that for us at the beginning, it was really like starting with a small group of people who wanted to learn and leveraging that desire to learn. Then understanding like what is blocking them from learning. Why? Like, because you can see us, like many companies start their programs, let's have a coding class for girls, and nobody registers. And that is something that we've seen in the Czech Republic before we started Czechitas as well. So I would say what we did differently is that we really started with a few friends, helping them to get inside the computing, and a lot of like listening and understanding why they did not register to anything like that before. And it is really about the mistake of being feeling foolish because I don't understand that so much. It's like my first time, first try. What if I do not have the knowledge that I need, etc. So in the courses, even if we run courses where you in the end can try really data science and machine learning and stuff like that, we really start from scratch. And when I say from scratch, I mean from scratch. So we start by learning how to change your keyboard from Czech to English so that you can find a semicolon on your keyboard. And we are not making this like making fun of things that people do not know how to do that when they start, because we really start from scratch. But then we actually try to guide them and help them and encourage them, and we make it clear that they need to work a lot and learn a lot, but we are there for them so they can really feel supported and guided. Because what many of those young women told us is, I always wanted to start learning, but I didn't know where to start. It's like so many options out there that I just didn't know where to start. And I just come to your event and you tell me, you guide me. I needed this guidance. I was paralyzed by this difficulty of like, should I start with this language or this language, even that. We can then chat about that more. Also, if you were interested about the funding and everything, I'm happy to share some basics about that. And also, and that I will not go deeper inside that, but just a like slide kind of like information about this gender sensitive education, because it's been like 2 years that I started writing studies on that, because we have many women who are just able to answer our questions and just like engage in our studies on the question, like, is it actually helpful to look at the situation differently if we are teaching tech to girls than if you are teaching boys? And in that sense, it's actually important to first keep in mind this diversity iceberg. And that is actually there to show you it's not the difference in gender really that could make the difference, but it's that us like having different gender means that maybe we had different kind of conditions at home. We had different situations. We, like there are all these different maybe skills that our parents suggested or helped us to develop, or the situation in the household just suggested and helped us to develop. So there are many things like, besides the actual gender or sexual orientation, about all the different like layers that then are reflected into the differences between genders, between ethnicities, etc. And we can see and observe these differences, and they are not really like discrete. It's not really that girl would be such and boy would be such. They are always like a distribution among different talents that we can see, and they might be like very close to each other. So when you look at the distribution of the talents across like different spectrum, you can see that they are not that far from each other, but the peaks are but the peaks when you see like a accumulation of the talent across the spectrum is suggesting that there are some competencies and talents that you can more often see with girls than with boys. Now, I want to make a important disclaimer, and that is, in this case, I'm just showcasing, and that is that when you look at different problem-solving strategies, there is a problem-solving strategy that is more typical, slightly more typical for boys than for girls. But what is important to say that the fact that you have different problem-solving strategy doesn't make you more competent or less competent in tech. The other way around, the combination of the problem-solving strategies makes the team stronger. And that's why we actually need to not just look at an individual and say, hi, this individual has this problem-solving strategy, and I see all successful people in my company has the same problem-solving strategy. So I predict this person will be really successful. And that's why I give them more opportunities. It should be the other way around. I see this person with different way they approach the situation. They have different problem-solving strategy. And then let's engage them in more teams. Let's bring them to the table when decisions are made, because we need to have diversity in the thinking. Now, what is these two examples of the problem-solving strategies I showed is one is target. So when you're presenting a huge problem and you need to solve this huge problem, then the target-oriented individual will go and will cluster, will kind of isolate pieces of the problem, will decompose the problem into sub-problems, and then go and solve each sub-problem in isolation, because this is how it feels most natural to them. What is great about this problem-solving strategy is that you see results immediately. So you see immediate results to the first sub-problem, the second sub-problem, etc. The second problem-solving strategy is perspective-oriented. The perspective-oriented individual first starts mapping the factors that are influencing the whole problem space. So they start with mapping the problem space and with understanding, what could influence the solution. And that means that at the beginning, they are really stuck. They do not have results yet. But after that, their perspective ability is actually allowing them to solve the problem in its whole. So kind of build all or solve all sub-problems in parallel. And you can actually see, and it's something that has also some connections to the way how our hemispheres are connected, that there are many girls who have this perspective-oriented problem-solving strategy, which means that at the beginning, you see they are stuck. They just want to have some quiet time, just understanding what's happening, and they feel sometimes anxious with this is too complex to me, this is too complex to handle. And if you do not encourage them and help them to actually understand that it's just different problem-solving strategy they are having, they might quit, because they see their peers who are already on this curve, running with the first problem solved, second problem solved, boxes ticked, and they still feel stuck because they say it's so complex, it's so many factors that will influence the solution. I need time to understand what is, the whole concept map. And the fact is that when they are stuck, it's not because they would be weaker, it's because they see the factors, while maybe their peers who started solving just are not aware of how many factors should be taken into consideration when introducing the solution. And that's why diversity is so strong. That's why we need both individuals at the table, so that we reach results, but at the same time, we are aware of all the factors that influence the solution. Okay, I will not go much deeper into that, because you can see that I would be able to speak about that for hours. And I actually do, because we are also doing some diversity programs for companies. And there we really have like 5-hour talk about these topics. I will just say that a lot can be done by creating an environment in which girls really love to learn and are happy that they are given the opportunity to learn. They really feel included. And I think with that, I will just skip this. With that, maybe final note that as a Czechitas, as an organization, we are organizing this conference about celebrating women in computing. If you wanted to join us, just feel welcome to join us. It will be virtual, but the registration fee will be very low. And you can learn about bridging communities to foster innovation from women, mainly from academia, professors, female professors, but also women who are like tech professionals in different companies. And it will be super inspiring. So maybe we'll meet each other at the conference. Okay, so that's it. I will close with this, and I'll be happy if there are some questions. And maybe before some arrive, what I can just share, also Jacek said at the beginning, I'm involved in multiple organizations and initiatives. This one, like EU-GAIN Cost Action, is also very nice. It's actually gathering and exchanging knowledge across European countries. We have 37 European countries involved, mainly professors, female professors of information technology. And we are trying to find ways how to help girls to not only choose IT and start doing IT when they are little, but also then come to university and then become professors. Okay, so thanks a lot. I will close the presentation so that you see us better, and I'm looking forward to some questions.
Bara, thank you so much for the speech. Because personally, listening to it, I really felt the driving force to change things and the power that we all have inside of us. And having seen the portrayal of women's situation in tech world got me thinking even more. And I hope it's not only me. And we are fortunate enough to have Bara with us for a few minutes longer, as she already said. So I'd like to open up the platform for questions. So just please type them into the chat. And just please also remember about changing the chat options to all panelists and attendees, to everybody, that everybody can see your questions and your messages. So feel free. I'm gonna check the chat.
There is one question in the chat about seeing what the girls need to develop like in STEM. So with I will be very happy actually to share the slides with you, so you can send it to all registered attendees of the webinar, because you have their contact in the registration, I guess. So I'll be happy to share the slides. These slides are, and I actually can also share some it's studies that we've done. It's really like a written paper, with many pages, so you can use it as a reference. We did one study which was really understanding what directions and recommendations there are available in the study. So we did a cover study of 800 research papers trying to design effective strategies to foster interest of girls in IT and in informatics and computer science. So it's actually, I will share those papers with you. You can share it, and you can learn something from there. Because it's actually many things. In general, when we are creating in Czechitas this environment that works, we take care of having really about the environment. So it is that you do not want to instruct the person and focus on you learn this and you learn this. When you create the right environment, everything will happen on its own. You do not need to push knowledge into people. You actually want to create an environment in which the education just flows. So people like feel competent, they feel successful, they feel their abilities to learn, and that happens in a safe environment where it's safe to make mistake, and this environment is very personalized. Because if you do not have personalized environment, there will be people who will feel weak and they will drop off. And you do not, I have this favorite quote that the forests would be very silent if only those birds sing who sing the best. And I'm afraid that like many girls feel like that. So if there is somebody better in the classroom, maybe I'm not good enough and I will just quit. And so it's very important to have this like personalized learning concept in the classroom. So being able to actually understand how fast different individuals are learning and like help them to learn in their own pace. And that's why we engage so many people from companies, because when you see our classroom, it's really like 30 people learning and like 10 people teaching, right? Because you want to know that whenever anybody is stuck, there is somebody who comes, just sit by them and just like help them. And we needed to create this like reporting system to make these teachers, assistant teachers, aware that somebody is stuck. So we have these sticky notes that you stick on your laptop side, and people know, okay, like somebody is stuck or somebody. It's typically we use the green sticky note to show I'm fine. And when you put it off, or when you do not put it on, it means I'm not really fine, and maybe I would appreciate help. And developing this environment in which people are not afraid to actually show that they might appreciate help also just makes it easier for them. Then when they have somebody sitting by them, it's really easier and everything flows. And this is just one example. Another examples are informal environment, spending some time after the course and before the course, sharing food in our courses. On each course we share food. So everybody's bringing some food and we share food. So also those who come and teach, they eat a lot and they are happy and they come again and teach again, because they know that when they come, it's so much nice stuff to eat and so much nice stuff to do. And you see that impact you are having with those who are teaching, who you are teaching.
Okay, Bara, we have a few more questions, and Leslie raised an issue. She said, I'm trying to help youngsters in a remote rural area. Our problem is getting tutors and industry links because they tend to be based in the city. Is it made worse with running online as we do at the moment, as girls seem to dislike this form of activity particularly? Any suggestions?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. So yeah, I mean, like for us, the situation was earlier that we actually built the bonds when we were in person. So then switching to online was very easy. And actually what was our situation is that we started in 2 major cities in the Czech Republic, and then the popularity spread. So people in smaller cities wanted to learn. And what actually happened then, that they were even traveling, from different cities in Czech Republic, just come to Prague or come to Brno to take part in that event. Now we are running everything in online, and we are reaching to people in the Czech Republic also like outside city very easily because they know us already. So like I think we are in much easier situation than you are. Anyway, if I was on your place, I hope this online soon finishes and you can meet your people. Just get in touch with a school or with a, like another community place, where also like what works well is like a city. The city typically has some activities, right? So try to connect it with some popular activity of the city. Maybe the city celebrates its birthday every year or something, there is something happening. You can make a coding event connected to that. So, find a place where like people come and try to showcase what you can give and you can do. And like what helped us a lot is with the visibility is a beautiful visuals, this beautiful logo. And I must say that really like it made a difference. It really made a difference to, make a design that is visually appealing and it just catches attention. And good luck with that. Good luck with your activity. If you just want it, you can find my email online. So there is only one person in the world with my name, so it's easy to find me online, and you can send an email. We can talk more.
We have another one from Anastasia. She would like to launch some basic IT education for young people and kids on the island, but at the moment they don't have anyone in the team with deep tech knowledge. Where should they start? And also, is there any chance to get involved in your network?
Oh, very nice. So, but I don't know which country you're from. Um, but
Madeira.
anyways, yeah, Madeira. Okay, very nice. We can travel to Madeira. Yeah, we can. That would be wonderful. So first of all, that's like one misconception we got at the beginning, that you need to have deep tech knowledge to start teaching kids. You don't. You need passion for computing. That's what you need. You need passion for computing, and then like everything flows. What is important is also for the like children, you never know where they go with their learning. So they are very unpredictable. So sometimes you just have a class with your children and you meet them next week, and you have one kid that written 200 lines of code, another kid who didn't do anything. And it's more about ability to kind of like keep everybody engaged, even if they have very like diverging directions. And the second thing you need to do is actually help the faster students to be good in debugging their own code, because then it saves your time in really having an expert person sitting with them and helping them. When the kid learns to debug, what they can do is that, given that they are faster, they can spend their time debugging and, like having it as a fun activity. It's a kind of, this detective style of work, trying to find that bug. And it can be fun and engaging if you teach the kids to do this in a good way. So it's not something boring. It can be also fun, and then they can really write lots of code and just get into the activity of like debugging it themselves. And then they like, create work for themselves, so that in the classroom, you do not need to have this like super knowledgeable tech expert. And also you can have time to spend time with those who are slower. But then it's just good to have the whole loop. So if you have somebody who's really faster, just like bring them to the floor and just help them to share their knowledge with others. They can teach with you, even if they are kids as well. So I would say, if you master this like engagement, encouragement, debugging, and ability to find help, find solution, even on the internet, even for children, because they are super smart. They can do that. I see it with children age 10, that they are incredibly able to find solutions to problems, but like empower them with this, and it's manageable. The thing you mainly need is this like passion, enthusiasm, and ability to coordinate really diverse speed of learning in the classroom, and then you'll be fine. And I must say that also there are many companies who run programs where they engage in teaching. So maybe if you just find the right company, they will help you with providing some experts to help you with the teaching. Plus, sometimes it works at universities. So you can create a beautiful visual poster and just like stick it around at some university that is not far away, and say just, are you interested to become our hero? We seek for somebody who is keen on programming and will help us in the activity to bring tech closer to children. Just contact us. And it should work. I like to do this with my students. So I just send, hey, whoever wants to teach, just contact me and send me your motivation statement. And they do, they contact me and even send some motivation statement why they want to teach kids. And that also helps. You see, they really want to do it. Yeah.
We have last one question from the very opposite perspective from the previous one, because we have Sridhar from Ireland, and he's a tech professional, but with no very particular teaching knowledge. And the question is, can you suggest where he should start with and how? And is there any mini course that he can learn tactics of teaching kids?
Yeah, so I would say that actually anybody can start teaching kids with just like, guiding them through some pre-prepared tutorials. So nice pre-prepared tutorial is code.org, for example. It's like one example, but there are many. And if you just like understand these tutorials are pre-prepared, you can be the guidance for the kids, right? So and they will need guidance. So they need somebody who just, you know, like start showing them where to start, and then start creating stories around those things they learn. So for example, on the code.org, kids can like kind of like pick up different style of programming, like event-driven programming, like this like really event-based, object-oriented programming, and all is just wrapped up in a game. So it's all a game. You understand the concept, the kids see the game. If you just help them to appreciate the beauty of that concept in the game because you understand it, you will be, you know, they will really admire you and your knowledge, and you can really like guide them through the thing that is pre-prepared. So pick one of those. Also, like if you just Google the best websites to start coding for children age, and you can say age 12 or age 10, you will get like tens and tens of websites. I would say that for small children, the code.org is the place to start. For older ones, then you can already start with really like text-based languages like JavaScript, Python. And for example, in this conference I mentioned, the Women Courage, I will have a tutorial by a professor who is called Feline Hermans, and she designed her own language. It's called Heidi. It's a Python. It's like a simplified Python language, and she is a researcher, so she really designed that language to be easy and meaningful, but already be a programming language. So there are many, many projects and activities. Start with something that was pre-designed and be the guide.
Great. Bara, we've just reached 5 p.m., so our deadline for today. And as we try to respect your time and our attendees' time, I think it's a time to slowly wrap up. And I'd like to thank you, Bara, because you were amazing. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. No, it was wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah, but also a big thanks to our partners and especially you guys, our Meet and Code audience, just for your time and attention this afternoon. I've enjoyed hosting you, and I hope that you walk away with feeling just a bit more inspired and motivated to do as amazing things as Bara does on a daily basis. We look forward to seeing you again at the next Meet and Code Purpose Talk. So just remember to check out our website and our socials for the upcoming information about the next webinars. Once again, thank you, Bara, so much. Thank you, guys. And I hope just to see you soon.